Hey guys. Okay, so we've heard about Jesus and his parables and his 12 disciples and miracles he's performed. In our story today, we see one of the many ways Jesus the King obeyed God by entering Jerusalem one final time. We can read about today's lesson in Matthew chapter 21, in Mark chapter 11, Luke chapter 19, and John chapter 12. We'll begin as we walk through Jesus' last week of ministry before his death and resurrection, his triumphant entry into Jerusalem as the King of Kings. The people of Jerusalem were getting ready for Passover. Who remembers what the celebration of Passover is? It was and still is a special time to remember how God had freed his people from slavery in Egypt. This was very important to the people, to the Jews, during Jesus' day, because they were again being treated badly, this time by the Romans. So they were looking for the rescuer or the Messiah that prophets from long ago said would come for them. When Jesus and his disciples were close to Jerusalem, so they were traveling there themselves, they got to around the Mount of Olives. He sent two of his disciples ahead of him into the village. Jesus told both of them, as soon as you enter the village, you'll find a young donkey. He'll be tied up there. No one has ever sat on him. Untie him and bring him here. If anybody says to you, "What are you doing this for?" tell them that the Lord needs it. So the two went into the village, and they did just as Jesus told them to do. And sure enough, they saw a young donkey. When they untied it, its owner asked, "Why are you taking the donkey?" So they answered, "The Lord needs it." When they brought the donkey back to Jesus, they threw their robes on his back and helped Jesus climb on. As they were walking, the people around them took notice of Jesus. Because remember, they were expecting someone, right? And they began spreading their robes along the road for Jesus. And others began to spread palm branches that they had cut out of the fields. This was a big deal, kind of like laying out a red carpet for somebody important. The whole crowd praised God with loud voices. They shouted, "Hosanna! Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. Hosanna in the highest heaven." So can you say that with me? We're going to repeat it. So they shouted, "Hosanna! Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. Hosanna in the highest heaven." Who knows what Hosanna means? It means to save now. They welcomed Jesus as their promised king. They hoped he was here to save them from the Romans. Well, some of the religious leaders, they didn't like this. They asked Jesus to tell his disciples to be quiet. Jesus answered those religious leaders by saying, "If they don't praise me, the rocks will praise me." Those religious leaders were upset about a lot of stuff. Jesus healed blind people, and he healed people who couldn't walk there at the temple. There were children around saying, "Hosanna to the Son of David." But Jesus reminded those leaders of the scriptures that told about this happening. Jesus knew those religious leaders were upset. He knew what was going to happen after he entered Jerusalem. But King Jesus obeyed God and willingly went. Just days after his triumphant entry, Jesus would be arrested, tried, and crucified. All of this was because of the Father's great love for you and for me, and Jesus' obedience to God. So we'll get to dig in more next week to the next few days of Jesus' life and his ministry here on earth.